Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here today to show you a tutorial on how to use coloured pencils. This is for beginners or anyone that's sort of intermediate, they want to sort of level up their skills or just find out tips and tricks that can help them in their coloured pencil journey. I'm here to help. By the end of this video, you'll have all the knowledge that you need to get started with this medium. This includes what materials to use, what paper to buy, what pencils to buy, how to pick colours, and I'll be going through a few tips and tricks to help your artwork look amazing. To get started, you will need coloured pencils, a HB graphite pencil or any pencil that you can find, white paper just lying around the house, a good eraser, and a really good sharpener to keep those pencils nice and sharp. There are so many different brands and types of coloured pencils out there. They come in a range of set sizes as well as individual pencils. This is handy when just starting out, as you can easily find a good quality set to meet your needs and budget. It begins at around a set of 12 coloured pencils and can get up to over 100 pencils. Normally, a set of about 35 will be fine for beginners and give you plenty of colours to work with while starting out. The Derwent Artist is a pencil set I've previously used and is great for beginners, as well as any general coloured pencils from the supermarket or your local art store. The two brands I use are Faber-Castell Polychromos and Caran-d'Ache Luminance. These pencils are great for getting intricate detail down, as well as blending, and come in many great colours. The paper I use mostly is Strathmore Bristol Vellum, which has a slightly rough surface. For this tutorial, you can use any paper you can find around the house, or one from your local newsagency or art store. Another essential tool you'll need is a really good sharpener. It keeps my pencils nice and sharp so I can get all the details in. There's also the Putty eraser. It can be shaped to whatever point you want to erase those little mistakes in your drawing. They're pretty cheap and can be found at your local art store. Now, picking colours for the apple. These are all the colours I used to draw the apple today. Many different colours go into a drawing, and don't be afraid to experiment too. Today you'll mainly need a red, green and yellow, and greys to finish off the shadow. Make sure you look closely at your reference to make sure you have all the colours you need. There may be a lighter red needed for where the light hits the apple, and a darker red for the shadow. Sometimes I like to colour a small square on paper to see how the colour comes out, and label the colour down so I know which ones I've used. Okay, let's get started. This will show you 12 different pencil techniques. If you're just starting out with coloured pencil, this will give you some great tips. You'll just need a few coloured pencils, a normal graphite pencil and some paper, whatever you've got lying around. You'll need a lighter colour and a darker colour, and you'll also need white, grey and black. Alright, let's get started. Just simply draw a large rectangle in the middle of the paper, then divide that by 3. Then divide each of these strips into 4 pieces. So draw a line down the middle and then halve those 2 sides. And inside each of these squares I'm going to draw a box, and these are the boxes that we fill in with our coloured pencil. Once you have those boxes, you can erase the larger grid. Grab your dark colour, and in this square we're going to do light pressure, and in this square we're going to do heavy pressure. So with light pressure we're not going to be pressing very hard, and with heavy pressure we're going to press a lot harder. In this next square here we're going to do something called a grade 8. So we're going to start out with heavy pressure and then slowly gradating out into light pressure. So this one essentially goes from dark to light. So this next one is called burnishing, and it's similar to grade 8, but I'm going to show you how to use the eraser to blend the two gradations together. So burnishing just basically rubs the pigment together to create a smooth gradient effect, whereas the grade 8 is just simply your pencil colour going down on the page. In the next one here we're going to be doing hatching. Hatching is just basically using lines, just drawing lines onto the paper. and this one cross-hatching. Cross-hatching is where our lines cross each other. These are techniques that are used a lot in coloured pencils. In this next square, we're going to be doing layers. So this is where you can layer coloured pencils on top of each other. So the darker colour, you fill the top half of the square, and going in with the lighter colour, you just fill the rest of the square and cover the darker colour on top, pressing hard so you're blending the colours together. This next one is called grade 8 with light pressure, because you are just lightly going into a grade 8 and then coming in from the lightest side with your different colour to blend. And in the one below, I'm going to do the same thing, but with heavy pressure. Press really hard so that it's going to blend these together. In these last 3 squares, we're going to be blending in with white, grey and black. So this one is a grade 8 plus white. This one will be a grade 8 plus grey. And this one will be a grade 8 plus black. I really like using my white to blend in the colours, and you'll see that in the tutorial that I show you with the apple. Proceed to do the same with the grey and the black. This is the finished drawing I'll be showing you how to draw today. An apple is a nice, simple shape to start with and allows me to show you all the blending techniques to create a cool work of art. This is the picture reference I used for my apple. Just set it up in front of a nice sunny window so you can get some good shading in. Starting off, I grab my graphite pencil and mark out the shape of the apple carefully, as well as placing in the general areas where the colours turn from red to green. Make sure to add in the shadow at the bottom. Keep looking at that reference you have in front of you. Use it to guide your eye to where everything sits in the image. Before adding colour, I want to use my eraser to lightly erase lines so it doesn't show through on my finished piece. Now, going in super lightly, I'm going to put the lightest colour down first, blocking in most of the apple. If you look at the reference, the apple has yellow mixed in with green, slightly showing through the patches of red, so I want to make sure to capture this. Okay, let's speed things up here. I'm now starting to put in a bit more detail at the stalk part. I'm pressing harder with these darker green pencils, making sure I'm looking a lot at my real apple to see where the dark bits actually go. Okay, let's speed it up. starting to take a bit of shape here, and going in with a dark brown, I gradually shade down, using the pressure of my pencil to blend the colours together. Phew, it's been a half an hour already. Told you it was slow, but so much fun. Cool tip time! As you can see, I've grabbed my white pencil. I'm now blocking out the lighter white bits in the drawing. So when I go back in with colour, it will kind of slip over the white, making sure the light bits stay light. Ooh, red. I'm now blocking in lightly where the red bits go. Follow that reference. Since I have my base layer on, I'm pressing a bit harder to really get that colour down, varying my pressure as I go. The white is also super handy for a blending tool. It smudges two colours together nicely. Looking a bit closer, you can see I've added details like a smudge here or dots there that add to the apple's character and realism, continuing to build up the colours with layer upon layer. Here I'm using a white gel pen to make the lighter bits really stand out. Don't use this too much though, as it's like putting paint down onto your drawing. And finally, with the shadow, grab the greys you have available and lightly press to start with, gradually fading the tone out to white. And there you have it, your very own realistic drawing of an apple. This brings the coloured pencil tutorial to an end. Please ask any questions that you have via the comments or via my email alicia.illustration@gmail.com. I'll be so happy to hear from you and to help you in starting your journey in coloured pencils. This episode was brought to you today by the Wattle Range Council in conjunction with Youth Week 2020. Check out my video tomorrow for a rundown on how to draw people, including faces and the proportions of the body. Finally, I'll be ending these tutorial sessions with a live Facebook Q&A on the Youth Week Facebook page. There will be a link in description. Happy drawing. Bye.